What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Flex podcast. This is our Super Bowl 59 touchdown show. I am Chris Raybon of the Action Network and Fantasy Labs, and I am joined by one of the top rankers, projectors in the game, the odds maker, Sean Koerner. Sean, what's going on?
What's up? Happy last or final touchdown show of the year. But looking forward to I have a couple long shots, so looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and pretty good show for us last week. We had the
Yeah.
Saquon 2 and 3, the Worthy, Hunt, Cook, Curtis Samuel at some long odds. So let's try to finish up strong here. And quick reminder that all of our fantasy football content available right now over at fantasylabs.com. All of our rankings, projections for the Super Bowl. You can find them at fantasylabs.com. And we've got quick slip links in the YouTube live chat as we go, and we'll also have a link to all of the bets that we discuss in today's episode description once we wrap up. So if you want to tail some of these we give out, just look for those quick slip links again in the episode description. All right, Eagles, Chiefs, 1.5 point favorites. The total around 49. Sean, we'll start with the Eagles. Who do you like for Philly to score?
Yeah, so before we get started, I'm on yesterday's Propapalooza. You had mentioned that you were already in our outline. You took all the sharp, like really good value plays. So I rubber stamp all your picks. So what I'm doing is I'm picking a random ass long shot from each team. So for the Eagles side, of course, I'm gonna have to go Johnny Wilson here at 30 to 1. For those of you that don't know who Johnny Wilson is, he's the Eagles' number 4 wide receiver, which means he rarely sees the field. So he absolutely deserves pretty big odds to score. But I think, 30 to 1 is a bit too high for him specifically because his role is to be a big target in the end zone in specific packages. So he's 6'6", 228 pounds, practically a tight end. So he's typically used in packages, around the goal line, or he'll be in there on Hail Marys. So his role is to kind of get targets in the end zone. So he has one touchdown on the year. It was third and goal on the 5-yard line against the Cowboys back in Week 10. I watched that play a few times. The play broke down. Wilson made a good, move to kind of alter his route to get open, and Hurts found him for the 5-yard score, right? So uh, last week he ran 5 routes, didn't draw a single target on one of them, but I did notice he was in there on third and goal on the 4-yard line, where Hurts threw a 4-yard touchdown to AJ Brown. It was almost the same exact play from Week 10. Johnny Wilson ran the same route. If it broke down, who knows? Hurts might have found him for another touchdown. So I think that's kind of the package he's going to be out there is like third and goal to go where it's an obvious passing play. He's going to be out there. Again, he's just a big body where they might scheme up plays for him to be, in the end zone. So it's the Super Bowl. If there was ever a time for, a player like Wilson to kind of get a play schemed up, it'd be here. But I think just given he has one touchdown in 16 games this year, 30 to 1 is already kind of long odds for him. But when you consider the type of routes he's running, the type of targets he gets, the very few he gets, he's going to have a high percentage of targets, receptions for touchdowns in his career. So he's the type of player, I think, if there's anybody that's going to be sort of the troll touchdown for the Eagles, Johnny Wilson's a pretty good bet to be one. So give me Wilson at 30 to 1 here.
Yeah, and I think, just look at Steve Spagnuolo and, how he kind of schemes up defense, and he makes you go to your, third option, your fourth option. And we know Jalen Hurts doesn't necessarily go through those progressions like that, but you're right. They could just scheme something up where they just try to catch the Chiefs by surprise because they know they'll probably, double or triple bracket Brown close to the goal line if the Eagles are in a passing situation. So, yeah, I like Wilson as well. And he should get a couple of snaps as that, goal line kind of in that goal line kind of package. And remember the first, I think it was the first or second throw of the postseason. Hurts threw a touchdown to Jahan Dotson, who also is in that same boat, just on the field,
Yeah.
never really getting targeted. So yeah, I like Wilson as well. I'm going with Devontae Smith here at you can find him at plus 250 at BetMGM. I think Devontae Smith is kind of being slept on. I think he's had 4 targets and 4 catches in each of the playoff games. It's been a little bit disappointing in terms of his production, but still undervalued here. And if you just kind of look back at a lot of the ways the Chiefs have schemed against a team like this, what usually ends up happening is they end up doubling the number 1 guy, like an AJ Brown, and they'll trust, a guy like McDuffie, who is their number 1 corner, can play inside outside. They'll trust him in man coverage on the number 2, kind of like the old school Patriots did back in the day. And even though I think the Chiefs should play more zone than usual, because that's what Hurts really struggles against, we know they're going to play man. We know they're going to blitz. So you're going to get some one-on-ones here, I think, for Devontae Smith. And he did drop a touchdown, had a touchdown potentially. I believe it was in that championship game. So like Devontae here at plus 250. Give him about a 30% chance of scoring here yet again. I think he's been undervalued all postseason, to be honest. All right, let's jump to the Kansas City Chiefs side. And I like this guy. Definitely thought about him, Sean. Who you got here for the Chiefs on your long shot?
Yeah, I'm going with Nico Ramijo. He's 46-1 right now. And of course, he's the Chiefs return man. And the new kickoff rules this year definitely encourage more returns. So there were 7 kickoff return touchdowns this season compared to just 4 last year. So I looked about 5% of the games this year had either a punt or kickoff return for a touchdown. So your average team would be around 40-1 odds to score either a punt or kickoff return touchdown. And he returns both for the Chiefs. It's not like they split it up where someone's returning punt, someone else is returning kicks. He returns it all. And while he didn't score a touchdown this year, he really wasn't the return man until week 14 after Mecole Hardman went down, and he's kept the job ever since. So he's only been returning kicks for 7 games. But he's been above league average in both kickoff returns and punt returns. So he's going to be more likely than your average return man to score. So again, we're kind of dealing with 40-1 odds to start, and I think he's better than league average. So I think he should be lower than 40-1. Plus, the Eagles, they've allowed the 6th highest yards per kickoff return, so that should boost them a little bit. They're around league average for punts. Trust me, I've done a lot of punting analysis. They're about league average when it comes to punt returns. But so again, I think that increases his odds a little bit. And I don't think he's going to play a snap on offense. He played practically the entire week 18 when they rested starters. He got 2 balls for 48 yards. So if there was a game where, Andy Reid might get creative and use him on a play like a Kevontae Turpin type of option, this would be it. I'm not expecting it, but if he does get any offensive snaps, I think it's just going to make his odds even more likely to potentially score. So love him at 46-1. Like I said, anybody that's just getting all the returns, I think by default should be around 40-1, and he's above average. So give me him at 46-1.
And you also get the Travis Kelce boost because I don't know if you heard in the first postseason game against Houston, Remigio fair caught the first punt. And he said Travis Kelce came up to him on the sideline and was just like lighting into him, like, you're not being great, like, by fair catching these punts. And so he after that, he was returning all of them, trying to get a score. So I don't think you want to upset Travis Kelce again. Right. So yeah, Remigio. And I think it's possible he gets a snap. I mean, last year, remember going into the Super Bowl, they had kind of consolidated, and we didn't even know if like guys like Hardman would get snaps last year, and they ended up being a pivotal point in the game, pivotal player in the game. And I remember the Eagles Super Bowl against the Chiefs the year before, where I think it was Kadarius Toney in the doghouse, and he ended up getting a touchdown schemed up for him. So you never know. So I like that. I actually have Remigio for like 0.1 routes run projected. So.
I'll take it. Icing on the cake if he does.
I got a couple guys here. First is the show favorite, and I know a guy that you really like as well, Sean. Xavier Worthy at plus 165. And I also like a little sprinkle on plus 1200 first touchdown as well, because Xavier Worthy, I think his odds have just been too short all postseason because, first of all, he's getting at least one, sometimes multiple rush attempts And those do increase his touchdown odds quite a bit. He's really fast, obviously, and he usually is getting those carries, in scoring position. So all three of his rushing touchdowns, 21 yards, are in this season. So a little extra juice there, but he's really been the kind of the go-to guy, the guy that they scheme the ball to every game, even more so than Travis Kelce, because he can move around. He's got speed. So I think they're going to continue to do that. With this really tough defense, it's hard to get a good matchup. Worthy's your best bet to kind of dictate your matchup, whether you want it on Slay or you want it on DeJean or you want to try to get deep on a safety, whatever it is. Worthy's a guy that can move around and do it. So I love him. And I think, because he also gets those carries, and you mentioned, usually gets them early in the game. I think first touchdown is also in play for Worthy. Any other thoughts on Worthy? I know you.
Oh yeah, love him. I mean, I was obviously going to take him. We're kind of jointly giving him out. I don't mind that you got him before me, but yeah, I'm projecting him once again, like around like plus 125. So it's just crazy that we're still getting value on like their most likely pass catcher to score, other than Travis Kelce. But I think that's another point with his projection is he's going to get 1 to 2 design rush attempts. Sometimes right around the goal line. So they're looking ways to give him the ball. He's obviously very explosive. So yeah, he's obviously showing once again the most value for anytime touchdowns. Just with my projections, he's plus 125 fair odds for me.
Yeah, I got him at plus 116. And
Oh, nice.
it's I don't know. I won't say it's super predictive, but we do have an 8-game sample size of Mahomes going up against Fangio defenses. And what we've seen is tight ends tend to catch more passes than usual for the Chiefs inside the 20s. But once they get around the goal line, the tight ends actually catch less than expected, like in terms of touchdowns. And that's probably because of the Kelce effect where, they're really doubling him and making sure he doesn't score. So I do think, even though it's a tough matchup for the Chiefs wide receivers overall, touchdown market is kind of where you want to target them. And that's why this next guy, I don't really know what to do with this guy. So I'm actually interested just to hear your overall projections on him. Cause I think you're even a little higher than I am on him, but DeAndre Hopkins, I like him at 6-1 on FanDuel to score. And I have him projected to catch, 1.5, 2 passes here in this game. I know it's a really tough matchup, but I feel like the market has just been kind of coming down and down on him. And like his longest catch is like 8.5 too now, which is pretty nuts. So I like him because I think where he's going to get snaps or guaranteed to get some snaps is in the red zone. They have Brown now, so he's not necessarily getting all the starter snaps. He might be down like playing a third of the snaps, Hopkins. But any thoughts on him with the tough matchup here? Is the market like too low on him, or what do you see here?
No, that's a great point. And I mean, we've been kind of bagging on him for the past few weeks now. He's now behind Juju Smith-Schuster in the pecking order. He's the Chiefs' number 4 wide receiver right now. I could say that with full confidence. But yeah, like it's like the market's smart, so it's low on him, and I'm like, you know what? They're probably right. So I scaled everything down. I got Hopkins projection the lowest I could possibly be and comfortable with it. And if you look at my prop calculator, I'm showing, a ton of value on his overs. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm telling you, when I came up with this projection, I'm trying to be as conservative and pessimistic as I should, and I'm still showing value. So I think I agree. It's like the market has just kind of gone too low on him. So he's too good. I think just one catch, he clears, his yardage prop. His longest reception prop is too low. I don't know if he'll get 2 catches. But yeah, I'm definitely looking at his yardage market being a bit too low now, down around 11 and a half here. And agree, I think his touchdown odds are offering value too. Like 6-1 is pretty crazy because that's kind of where they would want to use him, I would think. So yeah, I agree that the market's low on him as it should be. But I think it's a little bit too low right now.
Yeah, and if you just look at the formation splits, he tends to line up on the same side that Darius Slay would line up on, and the Eagles aren't traveling corners; they haven't done it really all year. So Slay has been the guy that's been targeted the most out of any Eagles player on defense this entire postseason. So that still is a matchup. I think if you get around the red zone, that Mahomes wouldn't hesitate to attack one-on-one with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. So yeah, I think he's just been way too undervalued here. It's going to be ugly. It is a tough matchup. He is old, but you know, you got
Well,
there's always
what are we calling old now? Is he what, 34?
he's old enough to fall to the number 4 receiver behind Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah. Well, we found
the
out
young,
Juju's still
spry,
only like
28-year-old Juju.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, he's been traded for pennies. That's once you get that, once you start getting traded for pennies, you're probably pretty old.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think you can still play. Like I went back and watched, like for example, I watched every Amari Cooper route, going into last week, and then I watched every Hopkins route. I actually think Hopkins looks better than Cooper, who just was like completely not involved. So hopefully, they do go to him here, but I think they will. Because the red zone has been a tough spot for Mahomes against these Fangio defenses. And like I said, I think they're going to pay a lot of attention to Kelsey and force the ball elsewhere. All right, so we'll give out we'll pick one guy each for our parlay. Why don't you go first, Sean?
So I gave out those ridiculous long shots. I'll be more practical here, and I'll go with our joint pick of Xavier Worthy here.
Yeah, love Worthy. He's been undervalued every week. Barely missed in the first game against Houston. Got in against Buffalo. Love him. And I'll go with Devontae Smith. I think he's been another guy kind of right there on the precipice of blowing up. And I think this is a spot where he might get even more one-on-ones than usual. So we'll go with Xavier Worthy and Devontae Smith. That is plus 750 over at DraftKings if you want to parlay those two touchdown guys. So again, if you want the bets we've discussed today, you can look at the quick slip the quick slip links in the episode description. You just click and it'll take you to the page on action where you can instantly tail any of the bets we've talked about. And you can go on Parlay Express in the Action app and see all of these long shots and other parlays that our experts are betting. So be sure to check that out. You can find Sean on X at _oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon. You can find us at those same handles on the free award-winning Action Network app. Enjoy the Super Bowl and let's get this money.